Hello everyone, today we're going to explore explode, mirror, join, and fillet to create a hexagonal tessellation. So, first thing we're going to do is maximize this top viewport. We're going to start by creating some hexagons through the polygon command. So I can type in polygon, or I can just click on that icon. Let me turn pointer focus on really quick. That's good. So polygon. I'm going to do number of sides 6. So this is one of many commands that you can alter mid-command, and you can do so through these different options. So if the number of sides was different here, I would click here, type 6, enter. I'm going to start working from my origin. This is something I highly suggest. Again, you can reference your origin just by typing 0, enter. 0 is understood as 0, 0, 0, so that makes it much easier. Let's see, I'm going to make a hexagon this big. If you would like to follow along using the exact dimensions I can use, you can follow them right here. I'll also say it. So we're going to make a second hexagon, and that one is going to be 1.25. So I could type that in and then choose what orientation. I'm going to do it in this orientation. And then I'm going to make a final polygon, but I'm going to alter it again. So number of sides I can do here, but I can also make it a star, which makes it have 2 dimensions basically. So first I'm going to give the center of the star as this midpoint. And then I'm going to do a 0.48. And then you can see that I can drag this out to create a second measurement here, so it's a star. So I'm going to make the next one 0.292. Perfect. Now I'm going to select these 2 curves. I'm going to explode them. So now these are all separate line segments. The explode command takes a poly object and explodes it into all of its constituent non-poly objects. I'm going to select these ones and delete it. I'm going to grab this selection and use the trim command and remove this part right here. Oh, I should add polyline here. And I'm going to make a polyline from this endpoint to this endpoint. And then I could do it again to make it from this endpoint to this endpoint. If it were a more complicated line that I didn't want to redraw, since I have symmetry here, I could also use the mirror command. And again, since we're working from the origin, I can simply type 0 to snap that, and then I can delineate my axis right here. I can hold Shift to lock in my cursor to orthogonal movement. And I didn't enable one of the options in the command because we don't like it for later, but it's copy yes or no. So I'll do that again and copy it this time. Perfect. I realized I made my star in a way that I didn't want to make my star, so I think we'll just remake that star, and it's going to be 0.48 by 0.292, 0.48, and I want the point going upwards, and then 0.292. Cool. Same thing, explode, take this out, trim this up, polyline, polyline. Cool. Okay. Oh, this needs to be exploded. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. I'm going to go ahead and join it together. So what joining does is it takes a bunch of non-poly objects and makes a poly object out of them. So it's the opposite of explode. So I'm going to make this selection, and then I'm going to do Control J is a hotkey for join, or I could click on these little puzzle pieces right here, or I could type join into the command bar. It's a command that I use all the time. You should definitely just get familiar with the hotkey, which is Control J. Okay, Now I'm going to use the fillet command. The fillet command allows me to select two line segments, or two parts of a polycurve, and create a fillet between those two. So here I'm going to start by making a 0.5 radius fillet. I'm just going to keep all of these other options as standard, and I'm going to click here, and you can see that it creates a fillet between those two curves. I'm going to do the same thing here. We'll type the fillet command again, and I'm going to change the radius to 0.25. So here and here is what I'm going to do for that one. And then you'll notice that I don't type in the command again. That's because you can just right click or press enter to redo the last command you've done. So if you ever notice, that's how. Okay, so I have my object. I'm going to now rotate it from the center. Again, this is why working from the center is so helpful. And I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees. I could also snap from midpoint to midpoint, but you can also just type 60, since we know 360 divided by 6 is 60. Okay, so now I have this. This doesn't look like it tessellates very well. We need to have the opposite. So this going in here needs to go out here. So we can just take this and we can use the mirror command. And in this one, we don't want to copy it, so we'll do copy no. Snap here to here. And now we have that mirrored. I can select these two pieces, and I can use the array polar command with, again, the center as the origin as the center, and 3 items. You can select these. These are all polycurves, so curve, 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 joined into a polycurve. If I explode this, then you can see all of these individual pieces. And this is because how the object was made. So I can join those back together. I can take all of these polycurves and join them together to create an even more complicated closed polycurve. Okay, so now we have this. I'm going to type isolate, and that hides everything except the object. And now we can use the copy command to grab a point that we would like to copy to. Be more careful with our clicks. Maybe zoom in, and we can start populating this and see how it would look as a tessellation. It's really nice to do this here because, for example, if we were to make these out of ceramics, we could plan out an interesting formation. As example, the one that I hit earlier, this is kind of an interesting formation. Maybe even I don't include these center 4 pieces, and this could be like a mirror behind it or something like that. And there we have it. We have a hexagonal tessellation. See you next time.